Welcome back to another episode on the Doughty podcast. Now, in this episode, I'm going to be sharing a concept that I've shared a couple times before, but we're going to be going much more deep on it. And the process I'm about to share with you is actually really simple. Most people go around this completely backwards. So when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to creating what they want in their life, they do it completely reverse. And that's the reason they may not get the kind of results that they want. And the formula I'm going to share with you, doing it the way that I used in my life to create the lifestyle that I have now, and plus pretty much anyone you look at that has had some type of success or even some type of like big jump with where they were to where they are now, have used this type of process maybe just subconsciously without actually knowing what was going on. And it is a game changer. And that is of course, from the title of this episode, it's be, do, and have. Be, do, have. If you understand the differences between these and how to simply be that which identity you want and embody that, and how to know that you're doing it because that's who you are, that's when your life is going to transform in a very powerful way. Now, the reason I'm also making this episode is because I just want to say thank you to everyone for the love and support. On the YouTube channel, we just hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And I just wanted to send you my thanks and my love, but also to let you know that we did this together because there's so many people waking up on the planet. There's so many people that are into this type of information. I remember when I started on YouTube, I thought there wouldn't be that many people that would be even interested in this kind of stuff because it was a lot more esoteric back in 2017 when I started. But it is incredible how many people are waking up. It is incredible how many people are doing the inner work, and it's really causing a change in our reality. As we change individually, it changes the collective we're on as well. So I want to congratulate you and say thank you for your love, for your support, for doing the inner work. As you change your vibration, you're changing the vibration of the people around you in your life as well, because energy is contagious and we're all connected. So it's a very empowering time that we live in, and I just wanted to acknowledge you for that as well. So when I thought of this as well, it was very synchronous. So right now, actually, I am, as I record this, I don't know when this episode's coming out, but I am in Las Vegas, and my buddy Victor's coming over every day, and we're at this live business mastery Tony Robbins event. It's like normally a $10,000 event to go to. It's for like business owners, understanding how to optimize their business and how to like have a vision for their business. And I'm learning so much. Like I'm learning a lot about my business and what I need to do to like change things. Like it just in general, I feel like I'm getting ready to really focus on like narrowing down and going towards a certain vision that I have. I think vision's important for anyone that has anything they want to manifest or create in their life. I felt like recently, I was talking to Victor about this yesterday, I feel like some of my motivation the last 4 or 5 months has kind of gone away a little bit, and now it's come back, but it went away because I think I stopped looking at the vision that I had. And I always had this vision of like the vision of being almost like doing what Tony Robbins does, traveling the world, doing live events. Now, of course, live events has been skewed a little bit for the moment because of what's going on in the world. But I always had that vision. And over the last like 5 or 6 months, because of the whole situation that's happening in the world, I kind of like got a little bit discouraged because this is the year I was supposed to go out and just start doing live events. So it's like I can't really do that the way that I thought I was supposed to do it. And it really changed it really kind of like put a wrench in my gears in a way. And that was kind of discouraging. But what I realized is I actually stopped just focusing on the vision. Many times when you have a vision, you have something to move towards. And when that was my vision, I had so much energy going towards that. But for some reason, I kind of dropped the vision, or I got distracted, or I was focusing on other things. But me being refocused on my vision is very important for me being that version of me that I prefer to be, which is the version of me that's not just making videos, but also working with people at live event type situations. And from being at this and seeing kind of, we're on day 2 of 5 days, and it's in the morning right now that I'm recording this. But there's some things that I just kind of want to share in general about the be, do, have principle, because it's honestly what got me to being able to grow my YouTube channel from 0 to 1 million subscribers now. That's a lot. You, of course, had a lot to do with it, but it was also me being that version of me. In a way, I was giving, in the beginning of making YouTube videos, I was giving myself permission to express ideas that I wasn't even sure that many people were going to be open to, because I didn't have that many followers at the time, and I was only getting like 30 to 80 views a video. But I just kept pushing forward with it. I just kept understanding that this is who I prefer to be. And then eventually, it's like people could feel that contagious energy off of me of, oh, this guy must have something to say. It's almost like I was making videos like, I have something to say. I am passionate about this stuff. And then because I was putting out that energy, people were like, hey, this guy has something to say. He's passionate about this stuff. And then eventually what happened is they subscribed or something like that. And it's because energy is contagious. Before anyone else can believe in you, you have to believe in you. And it's really just a choice that you make about who you are that changes everything. So one of the things of this Tony event was like, he talks about a breakthrough. And he's kind of in the first day, what he does is he goes through all of his other content, because I've been to his Date with Destiny thing as well, which is more like content, like personal growth versus business. And the first day is always like learning about a whole bunch of his like teachings all in the first day, and then you go into more of the strategy and stuff the last couple of days. But he was kind of re-explaining what that of a breakthrough is. And a breakthrough is just a moment in time when you like have this new insight and you just make a new choice about who you are. That's what a breakthrough is. And a breakthrough happens in a moment. Sometimes we think, oh, how long does it take for you to do this or to do that or to grow your business or to, ask that person out? Well, maybe it took you 6 months to gain the courage to ask that person out, but you did it in just a moment. And in the same way, when I look back at my own life, that was one of the things we did is we were supposed to look at a time in our life when we had a breakthrough, and then Victor and I were sharing it with each other. And the breakthrough that I had was when I chose to be the identity of a full-time YouTuber before I was even a full-time YouTuber. Many of you know the story, but just to very quickly summarize it up, I was living at my dad's house. I moved in with him because I knew that I wanted to make videos online, but I didn't want the burden of having to like have a whole bunch of bills and all this other stuff. I also recently moved out of like a relationship with an ex-girlfriend. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move in with my dad, and then I'll get myself figured out what I'm going to do, figured out, and start making these videos. So I was working 40 hours a week at Barney's, New York, selling women's shoes. When I was home, I was just kind of normally dinking around, watching Shark Tank, not doing that much. But then what I eventually did is I had this epiphany, this breakthrough, this moment in time when I made a new choice about who I am. And this new choice was that I had this feeling. At the time, I was reading a book that's called Crush It by Gary Vee. And it's just talking about how you just go out there and you just freaking do it. Just do it. Make content. Do it. Make content. And I was reading that book, so maybe that book gave me like an insight, primed my mind. I was walking from my room to the bathroom, and I just had this idea. I was like, whoa, if I make a video every single day for the next year, my life will transform. It was almost like a download that I got. I'm not sure what it was, but I just felt that so deep inside myself. If I make a video every single day for a year, my life will be unrecognizable in a year. So I thought to myself, what is a year? Like I could easily just dedicate myself to this for a year, this vision of being this type of way. And I also remember a quote from another YouTuber who said that in order to go full-time with your passion, you must first do that passion full-time to do that. Now, I know that seems very simple, but let me kind of say it again. So if you want to go full-time with your hobby, you must treat your hobby as your full-time, or your passion as your, whatever hobby, passion, as your full-time for it to become your full-time. So I thought to myself, well, I'm working a full-time job right now. What I thought, well, there's still a lot of extra hours in the week. So what if I was to make a video every day when I'm not working, and a video is scheduled, ready to go out before I go to bed every night? So that's what I did. Every single night that I would, before I went to bed, I had a video scheduled to go out 10:30 in the morning the next day. And I would then go to work, and sometimes it wasn't easy. Sometimes I would work I worked at Barney's New York when it was like in the casinos and stuff. So we were open sometimes till midnight. We were open till either 11 or midnight. So I had to close once or twice a week. If I closed on a Monday night, on a Friday night, we were open till midnight. I would go home. I would then film a video, record a video, edit the video, schedule the video to go out, make the thumbnail, then go to bed, wake up like at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and then I would wake up and then do it all over and then do it again. And sometimes I'd go to work until 11 or 12 at night, and then I would work the next day like 9:30 or 11. So it's like a big, it's like you feel like you're barely off. And it wasn't easy, but I just knew that the vision is like I have to stick to my commitment of a video a day for this to really take off. So I didn't let any excuses come in. And prior to that, by the way, as well, I saw myself as a lazy person. I literally saw myself as somebody that just is waiting for things to happen, doesn't get things done. And that was my self-image. And for years, I realized that for years, I just kind of stagnated in that energy. It was until I took responsibility and decided that's what I was going to do. That I was going to be that version of me. And I think that's important for people to know. It's like you have to take responsibility. If you, Tony said something very interesting yesterday. He said, in order to become an owner, you have to be an owner. And now what that's in relation to in business is most people that think they're business owners are actually operators. An owner does not have to do as much. An owner has systems set up so that the company is able to take care of itself. For example, my buddy Drew Canoli, many of you guys know, he's a really high-level business person, but he's not an operator. He is a business owner, and he's very successful at what he does. He owns a huge supplement company called Organifi, which are like the best. It's like literally the best tasting vegan protein you can find. And he's like, one of my best friends. We actually have a house together in Sedona. And we met on YouTube like at the beginning of this year. It's a funny story how synchronous everything worked. But basically, we got on the phone with each other. We realized we had so much in common, that we were such we had like a soul brother connection. I went out to San Diego. We met, instantly clicked. And then like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I came out for like a week or two. And then we just kept seeing each other. And then eventually we went to vacation in Sedona. And we're like, hey, let's get a house here. And then that's kind of what we did. But it was funny, though, because even before I met Drew, I was already using Organifi products because they like the protein I put into my, I'm in the process of like building muscle, and protein's just important for anybody to have. But I would take his vanilla and chocolate protein, which is delicious, and it's got enzymes in it so that it digests really well, too. It's definitely the highest vibrational protein powder I found. And then he also has something called Greens. And Greens is like this juice that I drink every morning. It's a powder. It's so that you get a whole bunch of like your vegetables in one little scoop. And I do that for energy in the morning when I break my fast. And I find that to be very good too. Anyways, I know I kind of went off a tangent there. And if you guys didn't know as well, you can get 15% off by going to Organifi.com/Aaron. So that's Organifi.com/Aaron, AARON. You get 15% off if you use the code at the top of that page. Get the greens, the protein, either the chocolate or the vanilla. I use the chocolate to make that chocolate ice cream, and I use the vanilla for a lot of like shakes that aren't chocolatey. And then other than that, also chocolate gold or gold is really good for at night, for sleeping really good. I get really good sleep when I use that. So Organifi.com/Aaron, Organifi.com/AARON. You could check that out there. And anyways, when I went to San Diego and I met Drew, I remember going into his company, and Victor, my buddy Victor, and I, we each gave a talk at his company. And when we gave the talk, what was interesting is seeing how Drew interacts with everybody. He's definitely a leader in his company. He's got a lot of charisma, and he's got like an amazing culture in his company as well. There's real high vibes. But the thing about him is he hired somebody to do all the operations. He is just the face of it, and he lives the lifestyle that he wants. He's now in Sedona. He doesn't have to be in San Diego doing what everyone else is doing. That's an owner. An operator is someone that's still doing everything. I am definitely learning to let go of some of the operations of my business because I want to be an owner. And if I want to be an owner, it means that I have systems set up so that I don't have to do everything. I can still have the freedom But like Tony says, you have to be an owner. Like in order to be an owner, you actually have to do it and be it, right? And it's the same thing that I said with going full-time with your passion. If you want to go full-time with your passion, you need to do your passion full-time, even when it's not easy, even when you have other stuff going on or maybe another job. And then eventually that dominant vibration takes over and then that becomes your reality. That's exactly what I did with having, like, think about it. There was a version of Aaron that was working a 9-to-5 job, went into work every single day, complaining with his coworkers, and helping customers try on shoes and sell them shoes like that are way overpriced, like $1,200 pair of shoes. That was one reality. Well, then there was this new breakthrough that came through with this new vision of me making a video every single day on YouTube and me living a life that I didn't know. You know, the unknown is definitely sometimes a little bit scary. Like I had so much comfort with that 9-to-5 job, but I had to just recognize that nothing new happens in the known. If I think, feel, and act equal to a 9-to-5 job person like Aaron, the 9-to-5 job worker version of Aaron, then that's always going to be my reality. And I knew that that wasn't my purpose. I knew that I wasn't passionate about it. So what I eventually then did is I was looking, using my imagination. I was visualizing and having a vision of me going full-time on YouTube, living for myself, getting up every day, not being told what to do, and growing a YouTube channel that has a lot of influence on and impacts people in a positive way. So I looked at that version of me and saw it. That version of Aaron is making a video every single day. If I link up and be that version of Aaron every single day, that will eventually become my dominant vibration. So think about it. On one hand, you have the vibration, the energy momentum of working a 9-to-5 job, and on the other one, you have you doing what you love. Well, in order to do the one of what you love, you must do that every single day, embody that version of you, be it, and then eventually this will become your dominant vibration, and then the old one falls away. The problem is that sometimes for people to make that shift, they have reasoning in the mind. They have an intellectual process that says, well, I can't do this, or I got to figure it all out, blah, 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 versus just being that version of you because it's who you prefer to be. So this is the way that it normally works. And another thing that I've learned a lot about is understanding that sometimes reality will tell you no. At least you're going to think it's a no, but really it just means not yet, or it means like figure it out some other way, or, Marie Forleo has this quote, everything is figure-outable. Everything is figure-outable. You could figure out anything. And I really believe that. Now, when it comes to, I'll give you like an example of this. So I used to work at Nordstrom Rack. Okay, so I worked at Nordstrom full-line store here in the States. That's like a mid-range luxury store, kind of. I mean, it's not real luxury, but they have like more expensive stuff. And I worked in women's shoes there for 5 years. Prior to that, for a year, I worked at Nordstrom Rack, which is like I got paid hourly there, not that much, like $8 or $10 an hour. And I went in every day and I was like taking shoes, putting stickers on shoes, and there was no commission involved. And it was the first job I had out of high school. And the main reason I got hired there was because I knew that I wanted to transfer to the full-line store. Actually, yeah, and what really motivated that is I met this lady that worked at the full-line store, and she told me, she was really cool, so I was talking to her about how much they make there because it's commission. She's like, oh, I work in salon shoes, and I probably make like $30 to $40 an hour on average with my sales. And I was like, wow, that's $30, $40 an hour. None of my friends are making that much. That would be amazing. And I always liked the idea of me controlling how much I made, not being capped out at an hourly rate. That was very inspiring to me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to work at this Nordstrom Rack, at this, like, it's like, everything's on clearance. It's like, it's not like a luxury store by any means. It's like not hand-me-down. But anyways, I'm going to work here for 6 months. And then after 6 months, I'm allowed to transfer to the full-line store. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And I was like, okay, so I was working there. I was working hard. I was showing up every day on time. I was like, considered one of the lead people because I was able to get a lot done in a short period of time, where some people would like take their time since they're getting paid hourly. And what happened is after 6 months comes around, I'm like, okay, guys, can you guys please put in the request for me to transfer to the full line store? I'm ready to go. And they said, oh, Aaron, yeah, going to the full line store is a big move. We don't want to set you up for failure because we think you're not ready yet to go to the full line store. So we're not going to set you up for failure. Maybe if you wait another 6 months, we'll then consider it. But you just need to stay where you are for now and consider to hone your skills. Hone my skills putting out fucking shoes. You know what I mean? Like on the rack of Nordstrom's or whatever. I was like, oh, interesting. I knew that was bullshit, by the way. I was the, because there was such, here's the real thing. There's a lot of corporate bullshit. So one of the things I'll tell you right now is like not working for working for yourself is like the best thing ever because you don't have to deal with all this shit. So here's what really happened. There was such a high turnover rate at Nordstrom Rack that I was one of the few people that lasted 6 months because everyone else quits before then or is flakes out or isn't that hard of a worker. So basically what happened is after 6 months, they decided they wanted to keep me because I was one of the few consistent workers there. That was their perspective. I knew it was bullshit, that it was like I wasn't ready. I didn't let that affect me. Some people would have heard that and said, oh, yeah, you're right. I'm not ready. I had a little fear. And you're right. I'm just not ready. I'm just going to stay here and like put shoes out in the fucking on the rack. But here's the thing. I knew that was bullshit. So they said no to me. And I said, okay, I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to, maybe some people say, oh, you went behind their back or whatever. Like maybe that's not the right thing to do in corporate, but I knew it was BS what they were saying to me. So this is what I did. I bought a suit. Did not have a suit yet. Bought a suit. Actually, I had a suit that didn't fit me because I used to do forensics debate and you had to wear a suit. But I found a suit. I go into the full line store at the Fashion Show Mall. I go to that of the shoe department and I say, hello, I'd like to speak to the store manager. And they're like, hey, nobody normally talks to the store manager, blah, blah, blah. I said, I don't care. I want to talk to the store manager. I have something I need to talk to her about or him about. And they're like, oh, it's a her. Her name's Lori Jo. I said, okay, I need to talk to Lori Jo. And I waited like half an hour. Finally, Lori Jo comes down from the 3rd floor. And what I say to her is I say, hey, my name is Aaron. I work at the Nordstrom Rack. I am extremely ambitious. I study personal development. I know that if you help me come over here or get me over here into one of the shoe departments, I'd love to work in any of the women's shoe departments. I will work really, I will become a top seller in a short period of time. I will be very focused, and I'm really intrigued at the idea of getting paid commission. I'm very hungry for that, and I promise you I won't let you down. Here's the thing. The Rack store does not want me to come over because they think they're going to set me up for failure, but really what it is they don't want me to go because there's a high turnover. I literally just fucking spewed it out there. I just explained it to her, and I said, I would love to come over here. I promise I won't let you down, and I explained it to her. She was impressed by how much boldness I had by going to that. And she said, okay, you know what? I like you. We're going to make this happen. I go back to the Rack like 2-3 days later. They're like, okay, Aaron. They were really resistant. They're like, we're going to let you go over. And what happened, they didn't say that we're going to let you go over. Actually, I still had a fight and stuff, but me and Lori Jo pushed it so that I came over. 2-3 weeks later, I was at the full line store. I was there for, let's see, the first 3 months. They then had these quarterly meetings where even the Rack managers and the full line store had to go to these meetings at the, man, I'm thinking about all this stuff, and it's like nostalgia kind of bringing me back to that time in my life. It's interesting as I've explained it. We had to go back to this quarterly meeting. And at the quarterly meeting, what they do is they call out people that were like outstanding workers and that were top salespeople and stuff like that. I won after the first 3 months there with something called the All-Star Award. The All-Star Award means you're given great customer service, all this like stuff. And I became one of the top sellers within a short period of time because I was so ambitious. And guess what happened? They called me out. There was a standing ovation for this whole All-Star thing. I then looked over at the corner. It was a corner of a group of the managers from the Rack, and I just kind of smiled and waved to them because I thought in my mind, they told me, we don't want to set you up for failure. I've used that as motivation, that little memory, to remember that you don't have to accept no because somebody else tells you. You can figure it out. Will they tell you no? Okay, you can try something new. Try something new. Now, the thing and the reason I'm sharing this with you is because so much of our reality is based on agreement. What do we agree to? Whatever we agree to is going to be the kind of reality we're experiencing. If we don't agree to it and we decide to figure out something else, then we can figure out something else. But until then, we remain in a state where we are reacting to everything that's happening in our reality. Be, do, and have. Now, normally the way we think this is you must first have something, then you can do something, then you can be something. Being is the identity. Now, here's the thing. The moment you start is the moment you are it. That's the frame that I'd like you to have for this. The moment you start is the moment you are. So I started making daily videos. It wasn't like, well, in my reasoning in my mind, well, I've been making daily videos for 2 years. I have the perfect camera equipment. No. The moment I started making daily videos on YouTube, I was embodying the vibration. I was being a full-time YouTuber. So after 2 or 3 days, guess what happened? After about 3 weeks, I had a video go viral. I had videos starting to pick up more and more steam. I went from 3,000 to 30,000 in like 1 month because of that mentality. I was being it from the identity level. Now, the thing is most people think, oh, I need to first have like the art canvas, then I need to have like the art gallery studio, then I can need to do art every day at the art studio, and then I can eventually be an artist. The moment you are an artist already, you are a content creator already. If you have a message to share, you are that of an athlete. If you're passionate about sports, like view yourself as that identity, and you will immediately begin to get more of that reality into your life. Some people say it's act as if. Act as if is very powerful, but acting is not what we're doing here. We're being. Acting implies that you're going to go back at the end of the day like an actor does and then be the actual identity that you are. Being is you being the way you prefer to be. Being is always connected to your heart. What are you actually passionate about? And then deciding that you're going to do that every single day. When I look at the being of my reality of the now growing to where we have over 1 million subscribers, that came as a result of me being a full-time YouTuber every day and seeing myself as that and doing it every day. Every day compounds over time. That's all you got to do is master your day. Be that identity every day. And over time, over 3 weeks, that's 21 days of doing it, then over like 3 months of doing it, then over a year, it becomes your dominant reality, your dominant vibration. Now, the issue that happens is sometimes when people aren't being it, what they're doing, or they are trying to be it, they then have a story that comes up that says, well, I'm not it already. You have to become aware of those stories. Become aware of the doubts. I had doubts when I started on YouTube, doubts of caring what other people thought, family members judging me, friends judging me. I had to become aware of those stories and then let them go. And the thing that I encourage you to do is to become aware of those stories and then just decide to be it. Be the identity you prefer to be. And you do it because it's who you are, not because of what it'll get you. When you're not really being it, you're like, okay, I'm going to start being a YouTuber. Is everyone noticing me as a real YouTuber? Is everyone noticing me as a real YouTuber? The problem with this is that then you're being reactive to the outside environment. You got to be it because it's who you are. That's what changes everything. And that's what I've done with everything in my life, where I'm at now. Now, the next level for me is me doing live events. Now, of course, there's some restrictions in the world right now, but I will eventually be doing that. It will eventually happen. But I'm like, here's the thing, too. I realized I was telling myself a story that, oh, well, I had this vision of me doing live events, and because we can't do big live events right now, then it's like it's all kind of put on a tangent. I could be doing kind of what Tony Robbins is doing right now. I could be doing really big Zoom calls, live virtual events, having people go out into breakout rooms, having people do virtual connections together and do live events that way. Yes, it's not live in person, but it can be like a somewhat virtual live thing that still gets people results, and that will help me hone the content. So when I do the live events, it's even more like, and that would be a version of me being that identity now. The difference is that once things open up again, then I can actually do it in person, and I just translate the speeches and the talks and the teachings into like an in-person event, which will be much more dynamic and much more connective. But I was telling myself a story that I couldn't do it yet. I wasn't seeing the opportunity, the option. Now, when Tony, he said that originally he was going to do, I was originally signed up for Business Mastery here in Las Vegas, and I was excited to go in person. And then what happened is it got moved instead of Vegas to Scottsdale, because Scottsdale, they were more loose with the whole rules and everything. So I was like, okay, we'll go to Scottsdale. We're going to have to get a hotel now because I live in Vegas. I have a house in Vegas. So I was like, nope, now we have to go to Scottsdale. It's kind of close to Sedona. That's okay. Excited about it. Then we get another email. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not even doing it live anymore. We're doing it virtual. And I was like, screw it. I don't even want to go to it. That was my original perspective. But then, because it's such an expensive price ticket, I'm like, do I want to do this virtual? But there's like a caveat, like I actually get to go to a live in the future. So for now, I'm just doing the virtual thing. So I'm like, okay, why don't I just, what Tony said is that he was, I kept switching on him, and it was really frustrating for him, but he just made it work. He made it happen, and now he's doing it virtual. He's probably on it business-wise. He's probably doing way better, way less overhead. He doesn't have to rent out a huge place for so long, way less people to hire. He just has like this tech setup. He probably has like 100 people or less like running this whole thing, and then a whole bunch of like, volunteers that are being like team coaches or whatever. But think about that. He made it happen. He made it work no matter what the circumstances were. I could have had the main perspective, the same type of perspective, but instead I was like, oh, can't do live events. I guess I just stay and chill in Sedona and do this and do that. You see what I mean? It's all based on the meaning we give it and how willing and committed we are to figuring it out, to being that identity. So the key for me is to be that version of me that's doing the live events, do it in a virtual form until things open up. And by me being that identity, I'm going to begin to receive a new reality. So be it. Be it. Give yourself permission to be it. That's the way reality works. And when the blocks come up, when the stories come up, become aware of them, let them go, and then reassert the way you prefer to be. Being is always connected to your heart. And from the stories I shared today, the thing that I want to encourage you to know is that you can give yourself permission. Give yourself permission. I was talking to this high-end business strategist the other day. I'm like really focused on my business right now. And this high-level guy is actually a friend of Drew's too. And, I've always kind of felt like, I look at my buddy Victor, he does retreats and like coaching and stuff like that. And I've always known that I'm not necessarily what is called traditionally a coach. My passion is not coaching people, like working one-on-one with people and helping people get results. I'm not a coach in that way. That's why I have some group coaching, because I can do that at a different level, but I don't do one-on-one coaching. Even when I started on YouTube, I didn't do it that much because I didn't really enjoy it as much. I enjoy making content that gets out there, that reaches a lot of people, and I want to do live events with a lot of people there, not just like one-on-one type thing. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That's just not me. And I remember talking to this guy, and I was telling him, like, okay, here's my business model. I know I could be doing coaching and doing really well with that and have like some high-end coaching thing, but I'm just not that passionate about it. And he goes, yeah. I was like, I want to do this instead. He goes, yeah, well, you're not a coach, you're a teacher. And that moment, that relieved a lot of pressure for me. I felt a relief. I've just, sometimes I just gave myself permission to realize what I do is I teach ideas. I want to do it at larger scale events. Like, it's a different business model. It's a different way of being. But I had to give myself permission, and I gave myself permission once that little insight that he gave me was like, yeah, it's so obvious and clear to him, and it's such a high-level guy that I guess I'm really bought in. But he's like, yeah, you're not this, you're this. I'm like, oh, yeah. I guess I could just be that. That's okay, right? Like, I don't have to do what everyone else is doing where they have, like, I see a lot of people that have, like, high-end, like, $2,000 for 3 months or whatever coaching packages with people. There's nothing wrong with that, but I never really resonated with that because it's not my passion. Even though a lot of people tell me, oh, you could be doing that and doing so well with it, but I do what I'm aligned to. What I'm aligned to is doing some type of events and other stuff like that, making content that reaches a lot of people. That's my passion. So the thing that I want you to get from this whole thing that I'm sharing right now is be, do, have. You don't have to have something to then do something to then be something. You can be it the moment you start it. The moment you start it, you are it. The thing is commit to that vision. Commit to who you are being. Do something you're passionate about. Do it every single day. Doing it over every single day over time, that becomes your dominant reality. That becomes your dominant vibration. When blocks come up, when doubts come up, when people don't believe in you, when people say things to you that make you feel less than, just acknowledge that the only thing that matters is how you feel, and realize that it takes a little bit of quote unquote time for the new dominant vibration to take its reality, to take its form. You have to trust that vision. If after 2 weeks of making YouTube videos, like, oh, this doesn't work, I would have never had the third week where a video went viral. You see what I mean? So you have to commit to that vision and know that you're not doing that, being that vision because it's going to get you somewhere that you're not. You're being that vision because it's who you are. And that energy is so authentic, that energy is so high vibration, and that energy honestly changes everything. So don't accept no for an answer if people like the whole Nordstrom rack thing I share with you. It's a mentality that you can develop. You can figure it out. Everything is figure-outable. So I'm going to go back to the next 3-4 days of this Tony Robbins event thing. I'll let you know. Maybe I'll update on everything that I'm learning. I know it's business stuff, so not everyone's that passionate or cares to listen, but I'm excited to be sharing all this with you. If you haven't already, could you do me a favor and share this episode on if you could review it on iTunes, it means the world. It really helps the podcast grow. And then share it on IG, Instagram stories. I'll be resharing people that share this episode. Let me know what you thought of this episode. And as always, I hope you enjoy. I'll see you on the next one. Peace, much love, and namaste.